Right, here we go. So we begin. So basically, what we're going to do today is learn how to use it. The percussion massager from a TCM perspective, as well as this little instrument here, which is actually an electronic acupuncture pen. So we've gone through this before. We'll just run through it once again for purposes of recording. So this is a rather simple version where you have the contact area here, and then this first button is just to turn on the equipment itself. Meanwhile, the second one is for the red light. Basically, this is the laser or far infrared. This is more far infrared. If it gives a uniform light, focus uniform light, it's a laser. If it's not focus uniform, it's usually far infrared. And these two here are for increasing the electrical output or decreasing that. So we'll be using this secondarily. And first and foremost, we will be using this one, which I kind of like. So we switch it on.
Me too.
And yeah, it feels a lot more comfortable than many of them. And for the most part, we'll be using this round soft head because it can go everywhere, including on bones. But this one here, I like to use on the large muscles of the back, big muscles, and for the soles of the feet. Really very useful to do that very well, but not very good for the head.
Okay. So this one here is good for the head.
Yes, yes. Everywhere where you have bones, this can be used.
And the ball is connected to every one of these?
No, we use them separately.
Oh.
You can replace each one. So this can be fitted separately. I usually use this for acupuncture points. Some people use them for trigger points. So if you're going to work on an acupuncture point, for example, you're going to place it like where we place the pen a moment ago. You just get it going there. So like this, for example.
You increased it.
Yeah, I increased. Yeah. So you can stimulate the point.
Yeah.
In this way, you can move down to stimulate another point. Or you could move further, and then you try to avoid the bones. If you're moving across, it's very soft, very light.
Right.
Otherwise, it's not very comfortable, on bony areas. And then you can come to another point. You can keep moving. Until you get here. So this is essentially for acupuncture points. Long 1, long 2. But you put this on the head, it's a disaster. But on the abdomen, you can. Certain points where it might come in painful or ticklish. Yeah. So, yeah, it can come in handy, but you have to think about where and when you're using them. This one maybe can work on, like thick muscles. Some people use it, on the spine. Yeah, but most of the time you don't have to. So you mostly use it on thick muscles. It's a little bit similar to this one, which comes across a little bit like, feels like a cone. Used for large muscles on the bum, the back, and yeah. So it feels like fingers. Yes, pretty comfortable in its own way, but I don't use it too often. These are used for small surfaces, like small muscle groups like these. Yeah, to dredge them. And how deep you go depends on how deep the problem is found. Yeah. So you have others like this can be used on acupuncture points as well. Yeah. And you never use these on fractures. So if you have fractures, you just don't use this at all. It's just gonna get worse. It really will get inflamed, and it will ache so bad you will regret you ever even try to touch it. It's not advisable at all. Yeah. So we will start with this one. Okay. So we will put this aside temporarily, and we'll have you on the table.
Which way?
Your feet this way, your head that way. And it's good. Yeah, that's all right. Yeah. So here we go. First of all, get it on. Then I just take it up to 99, which is as far as it can go to get the highest frequency, but you could go anywhere in between. Whatever frequency makes you feel comfortable. Good. So I usually start in the lower waist area, where a lot of people have tensions or aches, and often I work without the clothing because it tends to get stuck, in the clothing, or you pull, stretch it like this in order to be able to work. Yeah. So you work on the muscle groups on both sides of the back, all the way to the neck. Now this is a channel. This is the bladder channel, urinary bladder channel, as per TCM theory. So you dredge that. Usually on this channel we have what we call the back shoe points, which are directly connected to the organs inside, and we might insert needles or stuff like that. But in this case, you don't need the needles. I think we might be better off pulling the t-shirt up. Yes, it will be easier to work, and you can see clearly in the video what we're doing. Good. So you have the spine here. You can also work on it, kind of light, without being too hard. If you're using the round ball, it also makes you feel comfortable. And then you work on the muscle group on the other side. So you can increase the pressure, it feels different, or decrease it according to your need. So how does it feel, generally speaking?
Good.
Pretty relaxing, yeah?
Yeah. I don't know why I move.
Yeah.
It's like a tubular spot right there.
Yeah. Sometimes you might find some achy spots as you move. And these aches, there are of two types. You have the dull ache, which indicates deficiency in Qigong and TCM theory. A dull ache is usually representative of a deficiency of Qi. Meanwhile, a sharp pain indicates there is stagnation of Qi there, stagnation of energy. With a sharp pain, you can't go deep, and you don't stay, fixed on the same spot. With a sharp pain, you have to move, and sometimes you might want to turn the machine over on its side like this, where it's lighter, and then you kind of disperse using circles from the center, opening up anti-clockwise, wider and wider to disperse. You start from the center of the pain, and then you're opening up to disperse. That's how you do for sharp pain. But for dull pain, you go from the outside, gradually going towards the center of the dull ache, and then you apply a little bit of pressure, stay in there for a while, and then repeat. So that's the procedure for different types of pain. But in this case, I am very much aware of the yang channels and the yin channels and where they cross. Even though I might not follow them 100% exactly, I'm aware of their zones. And so I kind of clear those zones, because the essential thing in TCM is to move qi and blood. That's just it. Get the blood moving, get the energy moving. No stagnation, you're fine. So if you have that in mind, and you have this, and you consider that what you really have to do is move the qi and blood, and you're working in the zone of those channels, then it's easy to understand what you need to do. So it's different from just trying to use this to soothe achy muscles. It's a very different thing. Now, we go to the back of the arm. How does it feel here?
Good.
These are yang channels as well. So whatever is exposed, you divide into three parts: center, left, and right. And you just treat. So you always get 3 lines that can possibly be treated. Same thing on this side. When you finish doing this, you feel rejuvenated, you know. A little similar to using needles, but there is some difference. It's a little bit hard to say what the difference is, but in many cases you will not need any needles when you use this. However, there are cases where this will not be able to perform the job of a needle. With time and experience, you will find out. A lot of people feel particularly good when you apply a little pressure and here. So this feels quite good, clearing this area for most people. We usually will insert needles in here. You know, it's called fascia. But with this, you can work this whole area. You see, usually I use the side here for the head and do circles. So there's no banging, there's no pressure, and I don't spend too much time in the head area so as to reduce the amount of vibrations here. This way you don't really get that much, but still it's the head, and you don't want to mess around with your brain and stuff like that too much. Yeah. You mind turning your head the other way? Good. So it's the same thing here. Little circles. And can you describe how this feels, working on the head in this way?
I feel it's alright. I feel really good.
Very relaxing. Once you stand up, you will see how you feel.
I'm almost falling asleep.
Exactly. That's what it does. You see, like I said, I wasn't pointing it at you. I'm kind of using the side. So you can do this on the face. It helps with your collagen build up. You want to avoid the carotid area. Unless you really know what you're doing, you have to be extremely light and cautious if you actually do it there. So I wouldn't advise you go there around the carotid because it can knock you out. Yes. It can shut down the blood supply to the brain temporarily for a few seconds, and then you pass out, and then you find yourself waking up out of that if you bring this too close and apply pressure. Yes, that can really happen. Now, the whole face can be treated with this, but you have to be sensitive.
What number do you have on?
Max 99. Yeah. So, we don't want you catching a cold. The weather temperature is a little bit low today. Now we're going to work on your bum. You know, might be a little bit sensitive, so you want to expect that. This is point Yao. This point is very important acupuncture point for sciatica and other problems. So we usually start here, and then we do circles. Yeah. It's very relaxing because a lot of us tend to sit for long hours, you know. And by sitting for long hours, we block off the blood supply passing through this area, or even pinch the nerves. And so we don't realize often how much tension is stored in these muscles. And sometimes we actually lose the muscles by sitting too long every day. Depends on the kind of job you have. And so we come to this acupuncture point. You can apply pressure. It's called Huantiao. It's a gallbladder point. Well, it's a meeting of the gallbladder and the urinary bladder channel. And so from this point, you can do circles. And it kind of feels relaxing as well. Takes the tension out of these muscles. Might feel a bit uncomfortable sometimes for some people. It's a very useful thing to do for yourself. I mean, you can do this for yourself, or you can have someone do it for you, just like I'm doing now. Now, this area I'm working on is usually where the sciatic nerve runs. The outside here, and then the back of the thighs. So they're really very good to treat, you know. And these muscles get relaxed, it makes you feel a lot better. So if there are aches and pains, it's easy to take them away. Like chronic sciatica, you can do this, and very quickly you will experience some measure of relief from that. It's hard to describe what you're experiencing, right?
Right.
Yeah, but it does feel good. That is for sure. Good. Really, really good. So this is almost like a kind of acupuncture session without the needles and the fear of them, you know. So I'm treating a point of the Qijing Pama here, the 8 extraordinary channels. This is kidney 6, and this is kidney 3, which are very important for the kidneys, and this is bladder 62. So you can do that. I could still decide to use the ball, you know, on the food. It's a little bit ticklish, yes, so I try to reduce the speed. When it's like that, you try to reduce the speed of movement to reduce the ticklish feeling, and you don't spend too much time here. Yeah. But it's very important because of the reflex points on the skin. Yeah, so we were here talking about the sciatic nerve areas. You know, it changes everything about how you feel, and all of this can be within just a few minutes if you know how to use it right. So this is the back portion of the body. Later we'll do the front. The back of the knee as well needs to be treated. And at the end of this, you may tell us yourself how you feel. As you notice, you can do all of this with your clothes on, so you don't need to, you know, pull off everything in order to use this. But some type of clothing will be very sticky on the ball and might be a little bit hard to work with, but it just depends on you, what you want to do in the circumstances. You know, these reflex areas, this area represents the lower body, the waist, and so on. And the middle represents your liver, kidney, liver, gallbladder, spleen, stomach. And then the upper parts, you have your lungs, your heart, brain, you know, the sinuses, stuff like that. And like I said, you can work on acupuncture points using this, similar to how you would with the needles. Yeah, so to clear these areas. Great. And now we'll have you gently turn over so we can work on the front side of the body. You know, it makes you feel like you don't want to move. After the experience, you feel, I just want to lie here and you right. Go up, move up a little bit so the slightly, yeah, just for the camera. Yeah, so you can have your feet in. Yeah. So here we usually do an abdominal massage. So you just have to get used to having stuff moving on your tummy. You have the pubic bone, and we usually work just above the pubic bone. Where is the bone? Can you help me locate the pubic bone? There's a bone at the down here. I can't really find it. Yeah, where is the bone? Here? Good. Okay, so we start above the bone, just above the bone. That should be REN 2, the conception vessel. And here you can feel the insides vibrating quite a bit. So it can help you. Often many people will burp. Where is your navel? Oh, here. Yeah, many people burp shortly after starting to use this, you know, a few seconds or a few minutes after starting to use this on the abdomen, they burp. Yeah, not everybody, of course. Yeah. So it feels a little bit weird when you start to use it the first time because you're not used to having your insides vibrating in such a manner, you know. But eventually you get used to it and you realize it does you much good, you know. Yeah, it does, because the whole issue, like I said, is about stagnating blood and stagnating energy. So you can get that to move, you always feel better. So minus fractures, you know, fractures or stuff like that. There are other circumstances too. It actually makes you feel good. So most people will not use a massage gun in this way, but this is what you do. So along the rib cage, you have acupuncture points and acupuncture channels as well. And this is how I usually work. Yeah. So you slide down the sides here, back and forth, and it takes out the tensions, the stasis, and along the edge of the rib cage all the way. And then you go into the armpit. So you might, because it's the opening of the heart channel. So you want to clear this. Yeah, you don't spend a long time there, but you want to clear that. And you do the same thing for this side. Yes. clear the heart channel to prevent any blockages. And then usually I come up here. It goes off several times, maybe 4 times. So this is the first time, and then you can restart. So you can use that period of time as a time sufficient for one session for a person.
Okay.
And then this could be going for a second one. Or you can use all 4 on the same person, because you may want to do full body treatment, and depends on how long you want the treatment to be. So you could make it longer or shorter.
What would be the lengthiest amount of time to spend on someone?
The longest or the shortest?
The longest.
It could be up to an hour. Because some people come for therapy, they really want to feel relaxed and comfortable, and you can spend a whole hour working on that. Gently, zone by zone, just relaxing them. Very light, using circles and stuff like that. But it doesn't really need more than 15 minutes, to be honest. Yeah. To do a useful job, you don't need more than 15 minutes usually. Yes. But it feels so good sometimes. You just feel like, okay, yeah, just keep going. That's the way it feels, and why not if you can? As long as it's not doing any harm. If it makes you feel better, then yeah. So, yeah, as far as the face is concerned, so you can do this. Feel that? On the edge of the nose, for sinus issues, and so on. Yeah. So just pay attention to what I'm doing, and you will remember the areas I am mostly affecting. All of this helps, to keep your skin elasticity going. And I think your wife would thank you very much for giving her a session like this. Remember, I'm not using the front. I'm not really pointing it at you. I'm going to be very light here. You should be very careful if you're working on other people here. This can affect your voice if you keep it for long. Yeah. It can affect your voice, so you have to be aware of that. Yeah. So, we have your arms. Insides, we're almost through. 3 lines, basically. And then the arms, just like the feet. No need to do this for long. Same thing happens with the other side. 3 lines. If you're treating it for a particular case, you'll be a little bit more specific. So you do a general treatment, and then you come back to some specific acupuncture points, like this is small intestine 3 with the dunai. Yeah, you could work specifically on them for a given reason. Even the ball can work here. How does that feel? Now, with the leg, this is the front part of the leg. So I'm following a channel. This here is the stomach channel. You feel that?
Yeah.
That's the stomach channel. If I stuck a needle, you would feel something going down here as well. Yes. So you do that. And then the inside here, spleen channel, liver, kidney channel. So you're actually treating every key channel of the body in doing this. You're just flowing them, actually. Yeah, so there's every reason for you to feel better once you've done that. And if you do this on a daily basis or every 2 or 3 days, why wouldn't you feel healthy?
Right.
I mean, if your diet is balanced, and you're eating a balanced diet,
right,
and everything else is all right, you will be in more than excellent health as a result. So, sorry?
This is so cool.
Yeah, it's, lots of people have no idea how this
really,
can feel here.
Awesome.
And how many minutes have we taken? Not that long.
I don't even know how long.
Lost count of time. So basically, that's it. And then we'll be working with a pen after this.
Wow.
So what's the feeling?
Man.
If you had to summarize.
Go longer, go longer.
Exactly how I feel. The fun about it is you can do this to yourself.
Yeah.
So I can just sit or lie down and do exactly this to myself, and I still feel good. That's the great thing.